Another theme in the book of Deuteronomy is the theme of providential concern. And that appears in Deuteronomy 8. God's providential love and care for Israel is expressed through various metaphors in the Bible. And the prophet Hosea, who seems to have very strong connections with the book of Deuteronomy, the prophet Hosea will develop further this image of parent and child that occurs in Deuteronomy 8. So in a way, the language we were just referring to was really the language of husband and wife. You know, someone who simply loves someone, not because they're perfect, but that's their choice. They favor them, they love the person, and they make a bond with them. It doesn't imply anything about other people's, it's simply that's the person who's been the focus. So we have a lot of sort of love and marriage imagery, husband and wife imagery used for God and Israel, but we also have this parent and child imagery that appears. In Deuteronomy 32, verse 10, the image is that of an eagle that bears its young on its wings. He found him in a desert region, in an empty, howling waste. He engirded him, watched over him, guarded him as the pupil of his eye. Like an eagle who rouses his nestlings, gliding down to his young, so did he spread his wings and take him, bear him along on his pinions. The Lord alone did guide him. It almost seems to play on the idea that when teaching its young to fly, the eagle will push them out of the nest, swoop under them, bear them up for a while, over and over until they get the idea. So God is repeatedly testing and correcting the Israelites until they're ready for the promised land. So Deuteronomy's content, which are these farewell speeches and the death and the burial of Moses, are a fitting capstone to the Pentateuchal narrative. But at the same time, Deuteronomy really doesn't bring closure to this narrative, because at the end of Deuteronomy, the promises still are not fulfilled. The people are still outside the land. Some have suggested that this is quite purposeful. It points to an exilic date for the work's final composition, that is to say, when it was finally redacted, the redactors were in exile, writing for a people living in exile. And the Deuteronomist wants to make it clear that it's fidelity to the Torah, rather than residence in the land, that is critically important. But in any event, Deuteronomy is not simply the concluding book of the Pentateuch or the story that began in Genesis. It's also the first part of a much larger, longer literary work, as I mentioned last time, a work that runs from Deuteronomy through to the end of 2 Kings. And we're going to consider today the program and the work of the so-called Deuteronomistic School.